Hey y'all, welcome to the Liberation is Lit podcast where the power of storytelling meets the force of social change. I'm your host, Taylor Simon, and in this podcast, we believe in the profound impact of stories. And I'm so excited to be here with author Eddie Dee Williams to talk about some really dope superhero books today and just processes as writers. So, hey, Eddie D, how are you?
I can't complain. I can't complain. It's an honor and pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. So, to kick us off, can you tell us a little bit about yourself as an author and a storyteller?
Absolutely. So, born and raised in Valdosta, Georgia. Been a Power Ranger since I was 5 years old when they first came out. And so I've always loved being able to go in the backyard with my brothers, sisters, cousins, and we all just pretend to be the Power Rangers, X-Men, American Gladiators, all the heroes of our TV days, and just go out and pretend to be beating up on the bad guys. Growing up, also, my grandmother, who ran a daycare center, in order for us to stay awake, we had to watch the stories. And so, Young and the Restless, Guiding Light, Bold and Beautiful, on and so forth. And so, just really got immersed into storytelling and how to tell a story in long form. And so then you could couple that with all of the, stories of the cartoons we used to watch, the TV shows we used to watch. I used to love and still love to this day cop shows and, good guys again versus bad guys, Law and Order and all that type of stuff. But my actual passion for storytelling, before that, I'm also a pastor. And so ministry has always been a part of my DNA. Dad's a pastor, granddad's a pastor. And so having to be able to tell a story and keep people engaged for half an hour has always been something we've got to learn how to master, because we don't want people falling asleep on us. And so all those things were kind of been a part of my life for a while. But my desire to tell story didn't actually happen until about 2021, where my best friend and I were buddy watching Titans on Max. And we couldn't stay in Max. We couldn't stay in Titans. Titans getting on the nerves. Every week they get mollywopped. They get beat down. Starfire never starfired. Doggone Nightwing needed therapy. Raven's supposed to be the strongest person on the board, and she get beat down. We just like, why? What is happening to my heroes? And so my best friend was like, well, do you think you can do better? Why don't you write your own story? And so for 3 weeks, she was bothering me about it. Have you started writing yet? Have you started writing yet? Have you started writing yet? And so just to get her to leave me alone, I thought I'd take a stab at this. And so I thought about, again, all the things I love: heroes, cop shows, good dramas, relationships, all the things. And that's how my storytelling journey began.
Yes, I love that. And it often starts with our favorite books we love to read, our favorite shows we wanted to watch, things we were interested in. And I feel like it's just a universal experience of seeing the stories growing up and just that is a whole other like how do you write so many stories for things to come out every single day for so many years. So
Right, right. No, listen, there was this one show called Passion. Like, they spent a whole year on one day. How do you do it? Like, all the seasons were passing, but they were still stuck on this one day. I feel like January 3rd of that year, and they never got off that day. It made no sense to me whatsoever. So, the show 24, I think they stole that concept from Phil. They took it 365. I'm like, well, yeah. So, so yeah, no, they were able to, in a way, keep that story going and be able to weave all these little elements together. And that just became, again, just something in the subconscious that at the time of starting to try to write the Affinity Saga, started to dredge those things to the surface.
yes, and then speaking of Affinity Saga, let's talk about that and what inspired you to what kept you going after your friend was like, "All right, can you do better?" What was that, like, driving force, and why superheroes specifically?
So again, going back to X-Men and Power Rangers and things like that, I really wanted to tell a story that represented us. We are superheroes, man. Like, from the baristas to, the councilmen. from the greatest to the least, we are all superheroes in our own right, regardless of what anybody says about what they think our blackness is about or what they feel like we ought to be. We are heroes. We out here doing the damn thing every single day. I think back to my mom. I think back to my dad. I think back to, my wife and my kids and how we're all doing, what we need to do throughout the day. I think about my friends. I think about the people at my church. Like we're all out here just trying to make it from day to day, especially in the year 2026, where they just keep trying to tell us over and over again, you ain't worth nothing. You ain't worth this. You ain't worth that. Here we are out here, boots on the ground. While the whole world burning down, we still got boots on the ground handling our business. And I wanted to write a story that was a representation of not just us as, gods among mortals. I wanted it to be a story of when you have powers, what do you do with them? The good guys got powers. The bad guys got powers. The leaders have powers. The baristas have powers. Everybody in the world that I built has powers. So it's not about being powerful. That makes you heroic. It's what you choose to do with your powers that makes you heroic. And so I wanted to, again, write a story that was a representation of us as our, greatest selves, but also being able to tell the full scope of our humanity. Because, yeah, we may have these powers and have these gifts, but at the same time, we still got to pay bills. We still got to, fall in love, fall out of love. We still got to, got houses that we got to deal with. We still got to eat, we still got to live daily lives. And so I wanted, again, to write a story that even though it's based in fantasy and everybody's got superpowers, they are still very much human and grounded in a reality that when you're reading the story, you can see yourself in it. Like, that's me. So many people will tell me, man, this character here, that's me. I feel like you wrote me in. It's like, just make it do what it do. But I wanted that feelings for everyone because we are heroes. And I, again, wanted to represent that in the best way that I knew how. And that was how, again, the Affinity Saga came to be.
Yes. So tell us about this world you build in Affinity Saga and what message, aside from how can we use our powers responsibly and just seeing the everyday heroes, what are some of the messages that are included in Affinity Saga? And tell us about that world you built.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So with the affinity theory, I really wanted to focus on the main characters, Malcolm and Simone, and their love for each other and how their love for each other has the power to change the world. And so while they're going through their whole trying to, figure out their relationship and things like that, you have all these dark forces that are, coming around them, trying to take over the city. And so we still got to go to work. We got to put in this work and beat these folk down. But at the same time, the relationship that they have with each other is such to where it's changing the dynamic of their lives, whether they realize it or not. And so I really wanted to, hone in on, all it takes is one decision. All it takes is one choice that can change the entire trajectory of your entire life. And are you willing to lean into that choice or will you be resistant to it? Or will there be some ambivalence between the two? And so I really wanted to express that, once you find that person or that thing or that idea, it literally has the power to change your entire trajectory. And again, being able to lean into that while at the same time still having to deal with the day to day. In Echoes, I wanted to expand on on the concept of the city, in so much that you have your haves and your have nots, the powerful and the not powerful. And one of the things that I really wanted to focus on was that we have a lot of conversations in our global context today that they're having in this world. And so I made every character in my book Black to take the race element out of the story so that we're still having the same race conversation. Because it's not about whether it's Black or white, it's do you have powers or don't you? And the ones who don't have powers are just as powerful, just as angry, just as frustrated, and just as conniving as we see in our world today when it comes to the haves and the have-nots. And so I'll have a lot of people that'll come up and be like, man, you only got Black characters in your story. Da, da, da. I'm like, well, if you really pay attention, we all up in there. You got to read it to find out. Because just because all of our skin tones are relatively the same doesn't mean you don't have the same problems. If people who are afraid that you're going to do something to them, they're going to try to write the codes or write the systems or write the laws to make sure you stay in your place, because they know if you ever realize just how powerful you are, you might try to do something to them, which in reality, we just want to be left alone. I just want to go to work. I want to pay my bills. I just want to do what I want to do. I don't want to bother nobody. But because you are threatened by the fact that I have these powers or have these gifts or skills or abilities or whatever, you're trying to create systems that keep me in place. And so what happens then when you make you make the ones who have the powers upset enough to where they're now trying to goad you into doing something so that way they can reclaim control. And so those elements are the major driving forces behind Echoes. And all the while, all the individual characters have their own storyline. And so you're dealing with, again, relationships, you're dealing with secrecy, you're dealing with deception, you're dealing with, past issues, you're dealing with trying to figure out who I am, identity issues, and all those things. And all of those are interwoven in such a way to where you're getting a seamless story while at the same time getting to follow your favorite characters along to determine, who you identify with and whose story you want to see keep going.
And I love how even though the book is fantasy, it's very grounded in real human universal experiences. And even though all the characters are Black, there's still universal experiences that we all experience. And the fact that taking that one element out, which most people think, oh, making it universal is making all the characters white, but challenging that is just the essence of humanity. And so I wanted to touch on that aspect a little bit about what role do you see just science fiction in general, but specifically Black science fiction or fantasy stories playing in the struggle for liberation?
I think that for us, it gives us an opportunity to help people see us as human beings, because a lot of times our humanity is just stripped down to its basis level. I mean, you see what happened with Donald Trump and this video, that he put out last week, you know, Bad Bunny and his Super Bowl halftime show yesterday, stripping down of humanity on repeat. We see that, Bad Bunny's halftime show was a celebration of humanity. Like, we're human, we like to party, we like to have weddings, we like to live, work, play, all the things. And so again, we as Black science fiction authors and any Black author, really, we want people to remember that we are more than just what mainstream media might say or what some, angry person in power might say. We are so much more than that. We've always been so much more than that, but we're rarely given an opportunity to, on a large scale, rarely given an opportunity to showcase that in a way that isn't offensive to somebody's agenda. And so again, it gives us the opportunity to break through that mold and say, hey, no, we're human. We like to party, we like to have fun, we like to have friends, we like to get married and have kids, we want families, we want an education, we want to help, we want to be there just like anybody else. And we're not trying to, for the most part, we're not out here trying to outshine anybody. There's so much sky out here, man. I ain't got to outshine you to shine. Like, there's too much sky out here for us. And so we really just want an opportunity to be able to showcase and highlight, the best of who we are. And so I feel like that's what, a lot of us have that opportunity in the literary space to be able to do, is to showcase and highlight that, whether it's, in a book about love or a book about heroes or a book about powers or whatever, that we're all human and we all have so many different facets to ourselves that if just given an opportunity, a real opportunity to showcase and highlight that, people will realize that we're actually a lot more alike than we are different.
I really like what you said about there's so much sky that everybody can shine.
It
Imma
is.
use that. Imma use that with credit.
You can have it.
I
You can
love
have it. You
that.
can have it. Yeah.
And
It's the
so,
truth.
like,
Like, there's
sometimes
just so much sky out here, man.
right. And sometimes well, for me, it's very comforting to know that I don't have to be the biggest. I don't have to be the sun because we can all shine in our own ways. And I know it can be overwhelming being an independently published author to do all of the things to make sure your important perspective and your voice is out there and shining and illuminating the things for people that they need to see. So, what keeps you grounded in this work? How do you take care of yourself with this labor of love?
First off, I'm always telling myself and reminding myself that I'm writing these stories for me. While I'm grateful to everybody who reads it, and I want you to keep buying, keep getting the books. Please go get the book. Go get them. At the same time, I don't want to get bogged down in a numbers game to where if people don't buy X amount of books, or if I don't sell X amount in a week or a month, that the story doesn't get finished. I tell everybody when the Affinity Saga is done, it's going to be 9 books. So I still got 6 books to go. So I can't stop writing the story because the story's not done. And so I can't afford to get bogged down with worrying about, how the book is going to form yet. This is only a word yet. So we'll get there one day, but not right now because I got to get these books done. That's number one. Number two, that's what my support system is here for. I've got a set of alpha readers and beta readers who, if after me, the books are being written for. So I got my wife, I got my best friends, but I've made some incredible friends in the literary world who, we bounce work off of each other. And those are the people who, you'll see their fingerprints all over the books. How they help me to figure out this section or figure out this issue or that sort of thing. And so I always keep them around just to keep me encouraged to continue to keep writing, keep doing my work, keep mastering the craft and all those things. And then just watching my kids, man, like I didn't know because my kids are not readers like that. But them, saying to me, Daddy, can we read your book? No, no, you can't read this one. But then, going and making the edited version for them. And then I have soundtracks that I've curated for the books so that it's basically my mood music. And so to have them be like, hey daddy, you ought to put this on the playlist. Daddy, you should listen to this song. You think this go good for this playlist? I'm like, and so to have again the support that I have from my daughters, from my wife, and from everyone who's been such an instrumental part of making this a saga a success is what has helped to keep me going because they all want to know how does this story end. And the fact that they want to know, I can't wait to share it with them. So I'll just keep on writing until I get this all done.
Yes, because people always think writing is such a isolating experience and you have to do it in a dark room. And I'm just like, no, the most beautiful writing comes from community, from being out in the world and taking your experiences, but also the support that comes along the way for you to get the project done. So I love how you talk about your support system and how you write for yourself first, but for readers second, because a lot of the things that we preach to other people are the messages we need to hear for ourselves. So, yes. So, I know you mentioned you have 6 more books left to write and there's 2 published. So, are do you have any details about the 3rd book coming out?
I do. Oh, I do. Oh, I do. So Divinity Theory and Echoes are currently out there right now, and not to spoil anything for anyone who hasn't read them yet, but Echoes ends on a massive cliffhanger. And that cliffhanger is setting the stage for something really big to happen in book 3. Book 3 is entitled Sankofa, and in the book, the Elite Defenders unit are now having to hunt down one of their own while the one who they're hunting after is trying to find answers to questions that he didn't even know were out there. And in his pursuit of these questions, it may force him to unleash a superpower in the world that has like world ending implications. And so the question will be, how far will you go to get the truth? And I can't wait till y'all find out how far it goes. Cause man, when I tell you it is setting the stage for the next 3 books, I'm sitting on G. I can't wait for y'all to read this book. One of my alpha readers finished reading it last week, and she literally said, and I'm quoting her, it's damn near perfect. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited. Fall 2026, we'll have a specific date sometime in April after I get all the edits done from the alpha readers. Once I get all those done, I'll have a specific date in the fall for when book 3 will come out. I'm excited for Sankofa. I can't wait for y'all to get your hands on it. It's gonna be such a good time. Oh, it's gonna be
Yes, I'm excited for it too. Anything with like Sankofa in the title, I'm expecting like perfection. Not to put pressure, but
oh
yeah,
no,
I
listen, the
just know
pressure's
it's gonna be
already been
juicy.
set.
Yes.
The pressure's already been set. I mean, again, the way that book 2 ends, I had one of my alpha readers who said to me when she got to chapter 1, she was like, "Oh yeah, that's right. Book 2 did end on a cliffhanger. Wait a minute." And so that's how I know we are in the bag. Just every because it's like it's gonna be it's gonna be a page turner. It's flipping everything upside down. There's so many things that are gonna be happening all at once. It's an absolute roller coaster, and that's my intention. My intention is to make you feel through the way the book is written, the way the characters feel. You're gonna be like, WTF all the way through the book. Because that's exactly what characters are feeling all through the book. WTF. And I can't wait for y'all to be in my DM saying WTF.
Yes, because I the best books are like that for me, where I'm just like, "Wait, and then okay, okay." So, my last question for you today is what advice would you offer listeners who wanna make a positive impact in their communities?
I would tell anyone, you know, write, just write your stories, man. Somebody needs it. Somebody needs it. I didn't know that the book that I'm writing would be so inspirational to so many people. When I first wrote the Affinity Theory, I just want to tell some superhero stories. I just wanted to beat down Titans. I was mad at them. Mad at some Titans. I didn't realize how inspirational this story was going to be. But then start going through the DMs, going through the reviews. Oh my God, Black superheroes. Oh my gosh, I see myself in this book. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to give this to my kids. I realized that this story is already bigger than me and that I have an obligation to my community while simultaneously, again, writing for myself. But I have an obligation to the community to see this through because they see themselves in this. And so I tell anybody, whether you're writing, reading, whatever you're doing in the community, know that somebody's got their eyes on you. They're watching you and they are inspired by you. That's why I keep saying to anybody who will listen, we are heroes. Nobody's coming to save us for the most part. We have to be our own heroes, and we are. Wherever we are, whatever sphere of influence that we're in, we have the power in some capacity to make change, even if the change is us revolting against the machine. And so, whatever you are, whatever you're doing, keep doing what you're doing because you are meant to be where you are. I would have never in a million years thought that I would be writing superhero stories. But now that I understand the call, I got a responsibility to finish this thing and I'm excited to do it. And so wherever you find yourself at, be inspired to keep doing what you're doing. And if you don't feel inspired, maybe that's a call for you to pivot to where you will be, because maybe that's the Lord or whatever spiritual deity you believe in that's trying to nudge you in the direction you're meant to go. So sometimes we got to cut something off in order to finally be set free. And so, yeah, man, be inspired, be led to do what you're called to do and just stick with it. It may not produce the multi-billion dollar, mega bucks that we want it to, but I promise you, somebody needs whatever it is that you're doing. So keep doing it. Even if you just reach one more person, it's all worth it.
Yes, and even if that person is yourself too.
Because that was
Yes,
me.
I love it. And I'm definitely going to link in the show notes where you can get your hands on the first two books in preparation for the third one coming out in fall. But other than that, where can people find you and your work and DM you all of the WTF moments they experience while reading?
Absolutely. Listen, so all the books are located on theaffinitysaga.com. Theaffinitysaga.com. All the books and all the merch are located there. We run sales all the time. So right now, during Black History Month, we have all books half price. Just yesterday for the Super Bowl, we had all the ebooks that were priced for $2. And so you definitely want to stay connected, subscribe, so that way you can have first access to all of the sales that we have. Because we be running stuff all the time. Like, come get these books, man. Come get these books on my shelf, man. That's how it is. Get these books on my shelf. But if you, are, more your mega retailers, Amazon, Thrift Books, Barnes and Noble, Walmart, and bookshop.org, you can find all my books there as well. And so, and if you're on TikTok, we have the TikTok shop that's open also. And so there's no reason that you can't get your hands on a copy of my book. You can find me on all the social medias under the same umbrella of Eddie Dee Writes. That's Eddie Deewrites. And so Threads, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. You can find me on those sites under that banner. And again, I am team, DM back. So if you DM me something about this book, best believe I'm be in that chat and we can talk about where you at, what chapter, what scene, because I want to talk about it. So feel free to DM me. I'm not afraid or ashamed of the DMs. Again, just keep it classy because, if you get in here in these streets, then might have to hit a block or two. But yeah, but again, come and find me, man. I'm accessible. I'm touchable. And even if you have questions about your own book journey, we're more than willing and able. I'm not a gatekeeper. I'll give you any advice that I can to help you along your journey.
I love it. And I will link all of the social media also in the show notes in the description. So thank you again for being a part of this podcast. Y'all make sure to check out these books. And thank you, listeners, also for being a part of the Liberation is Lit podcast. If you have stories you want to share, want to suggest any topics, or just want to connect, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Liberation is Lit, or you can visit our website, liberationislit.com. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving a review. And remember, your voice matters. And together, through the lens of stories, we're going to make a difference in the world. Until next time.